I've broken every rule in the book, and not out of malice or any telling anyone that I'll show you. I did it to show myself. I've shown myself. I looked in the mirror, I thought, I'll show you one day. And I've done something completely new. I wrote the music, and I feel limitless.
Performing and doing all these things, we never acknowledge anything negative. And if you do, it gets very violent, like the time, what happens immediately after the scene you just saw is, he starts to confront who you are. So I know who you are. And he would have really hurt Jeff's character if he'd gone any further. And that's why he goes, the hallucination guards against that. It's basically, it is freeing to create that character, because you can really explore kind of where you've been and the aspects of why you would want to deny, and that kind of whole aspect of, you know, performing for the sake of just avoiding. For him, love is such a delicate thing that and even getting it back again triggers another one of the breakdowns. It's so fragile for him, and that's what makes it interesting. That's why I did it.
There's a sadness, and then you have to go, there's also hope. I mean, a sadness, it's always like, yeah, you wish they hadn't happened, but they did. And the purpose is to make you different. It's what they call a Buddhist gift. I would call it the ultimate Christian gift. It's that idea of you're back and you realize the thing that matters are others. Way beyond yourself. Self goes away. Ego, bye-bye.
What they actually need to grow. At the start, Dewey's desire is to be in a rock band that blows up, gets rich, and changes the world. He's convinced that him and his band are on the verge of success, but his ego and self-assuredness blind him to his own shortcomings as a band member. He's a skilled musician, but he doesn't have a group he belongs in. Dewey doesn't know it yet, but he needs to find his place in a community. A fulfilling role that allows him to use the rock skills he's honed. In the first act, he's ousted from his band, his roommates are convinced that his skills are useless, and he needs to move on to a different career. His bandmates have given up on him, and his roommates have given up on art. His community no longer sees him as valuable. We see that he can shred on the guitar, but also that he's a complete showboat who can't read the room. He's stuck, he's broke, and he's mooching off of his friends who've pursued a traditional career path. One of my favorite qualities about this movie, and a quality that never gets old, is Dewey/Jack Black's infectious passion for sharing the art that he loves. There's no gatekeeping his rock fandom. He's not judging these kids for not knowing who Pink Floyd is. He's not sneering at their buttoned-up musical style. He's eager to share the art he loves with them and to inaugurate them into rock fandom. He's so enthusiastic about initiating newcomers into rock, to the point where his character learns that his satisfaction in life isn't tied to winning a competition or getting famous. It's all about propping up other artists and creating a community where they belong. School of Rock teaches the importance of unpretentiously sharing your passions with others, encouraging them to make art, and in turn building an art community. That is a damn beautiful thing. It is so important to gas up artists and creative people, especially young ones going through the school system, because often school is like step one of crushing a human being's creative spirit. Standardized testing, attendance, gold stars, all of it just hammers into us that we're a bunch of numbers who have to meet arbitrary requirements in order to be worth anything to society. All of it teaches us to suppress the things that make us different because there's only one correct way to excel in life.
And we all have a great need for acceptance. But you must trust that your beliefs are unique, your own, even though others may think them odd or unpopular, even though the herd may go, that's bad.
And that moment, talked about this once, that there is a thing when you create, when you find that little tiny flash, when you find some idea.
It's bliss. It's bliss.
Well, because the brain gives you the same reinforcement that it does with sex. I mean,
that's right.
And the reason the brain gives you a little hit of endorphin when you create is just to keep you going.
Here's a taste.
Yes.
Keep creating, you get another taste.
Because you're only given a little spark of madness. And if you lose that, you're nothing.
Basically, when you're really firing and it really works, it's like musicians have said it, or writers say it, you're just channeling. It's truly that's why you say that divine inspiration, where it just passes, you're just letting it through you.
I'm intelligent, but I'm not a brilliant intellect. I'm intelligent enough to get into this business and to be an actor, to survive this long. That's called native intelligence. But where I came from as a schoolboy, I was an idiot. I couldn't understand anything. So I don't know how I got here from where I was then.
Obviously you were not.
I was doomed to failure. In school I was told I would be a failure. I was told I would amount to nothing. And I remember saying to my father one day, I'll show you. Now maybe at that moment when I said, I'll show you, maybe that set a spark off. I don't know. Maybe something divine went off in me. But whatever has happened in my life has happened in spite of myself. Because of myself I am nothing.
All life is magical. It is magic, you see, because we're the instruments, and all problems are technical. Once you can go through those problems without avoiding them or backing off from them, because it's like fear. You go through it. You go through the problem, confront it and go through it, then you have release. Stanislavski called it the plane of inspiration that takes off from the runway. And the runway is the technique, the runway is the getting on with it. And the plane will take off. If on Tuesday night, however, it doesn't quite take off, it doesn't matter, you can't stop the plane and say, well, I'll go back because I don't feel it tonight. You get on with it technically, and then on Wednesday night, probably it's going to take off again, as long as you're relaxed. But it really is, it's kind of being on automatic pilot. And I think it comes after experience. I think it comes out, and I think I feel in the happy state of mind now that I have 15 years or 20 years of experience behind me. And I think it's used well, and there's a lot of positive out of all the anguish and the pain and discomfort. And there have been good times, there have been negative times. But Olivia said once, when he was directing Colin Blakely in June and the Peacock, and I was in June and the Peacock, and he said, you have to find the middle man. And Blakely said, what do you mean? He said, find the middle man, that ease of playing a character. And Blakely said, I only have until next week. And he said, you won't do it next week. It'll take you the rest of your life. And it's really relaxing and letting go. The booster that puts one into outer orbit, the aggression, the arrogance and the ambition and all that, that's all very necessary. But there's a time when one has to let go. And I guess I'm in orbit. And all I have to do is rest assured that it's going to be okay. And do what is required of me, Keep in practice. Keep working. I'm going back to the theatre. I want to go back to the theatre. And I'm being kind to myself. That's all I can say, really. Then the magic happens. Schofield is right. You get on with it. John Dexter told me in New York, he said, just get on with it. Don't analyze. Do it.
But I always felt that I was different. The trouble was I couldn't explain how, and certainly not why. It felt as if I had been provided a different rule book, and that I lacked a community to fall back upon that could confirm to me that the way I interpreted the world was valid too. So I grew up feeling very misunderstood by pretty much everybody, even within my own family. If I applied what would have been my motives, my intentions, upon someone else's behavior, or vice versa, the outcome was often negative and very confusing.
Make your life spectacular. I know I did.
Just keep going. Find that thing you love, because it's tough work. And my father gave me this advice when I said I wanted to be an actor. He said, have a backup profession like welding. But I think if you can find that thing that really gives you joy, that'll be it. Because for me, it's always been comedy and stand-up and acting too.
There's a line in Garp that you say you can look at the arc of your life and find it interesting. That's what it's been for me. It's nice that it has been getting better and better. That's the only thing I pull out of it. That's nice. That it keeps trying, and the fact that I'm offered these amazing things to keep doing stuff that keeps exploring different aspects, that's wonderful too. I don't know how much value I have in this universe, but I do know that I made a few people happier than they would have been without me. And as long as I know that, I'm as rich as I ever need to be.